Night Vision is back in action and here to continue our discussion about Phil Knight and his outstandingly unique leadership techniques. Sit back and enjoy as LeBron James, Steve Prefontaine, Tiger Woods, Mia Hamm, and John McEnroe discuss topics such as the organizational culture of Nike, Phil Knight's decision-making process, Knight's power and influential tactics, and culminate in conversation regarding the organizational financial successes of Nike. Enjoy.
Hi, it's me, Mia Hamm, again today, and I'm going to talk about the organizational culture of Nike. Organizational culture is defined as the pattern of basic assumptions that are considered valid and that are taught to new members as ways to perceive, think, and feel in the organization. In order to get a better understanding of Nike's organizational culture, I'm first going to talk about Nike's artifacts. Artifacts are symbols of culture in the physical and social work environment. An extremely effective artifact is a story, as stories give meanings and identity to organizations. An example of a story at Nike is how lower-level employees can rise to the top. Nike rewards hard workers and they promote from within. It is not rare for sales associates to be promoted to store managers and then promoted to entry-level positions at one of Nike's corporate offices throughout the world. Another type of an artifact is a symbol, and a perfect example is the Nike swoosh. Some employees and even some devout lovers of the brand who are outside of the company have the swoosh proudly tattooed on their body. Today, Nike is one of the few companies that has managed to appeal to every demographic around the world. Nike doesn't just create shoes and sports apparel. They create an attitude, and even further, they have created a lifestyle. The Nike swoosh is known internationally and is considered to be the most iconic brand logo of all time, according to Complex Magazine. Also, in Forbes' list of the most valued brands around the world, Nike claimed the 21st ranking in 2014, and they were the highest ranked apparel company. At Nike, performance is everything, and Phil Knight has stirred up controversy in his behaviors towards endorsed athletes. Nike continued to endorse Kobe Bryant and Tiger Woods through their respective scandals. 2.5 years later, after Kobe's sexual assault case, Nike ran a commercial featuring Kobe where he said, "Love me or hate me, it's always been one or the other." On the other hand, Nike terminated their endorsement for Lance Armstrong due to his use of performance-enhancing drugs. Both Tiger and Kobe's behaviors did not impact their performance, and as a result, Nike decided to keep them on board. Next, let's discuss Phil Knight's and Nike's attitudes. Phil Knight's just do it attitude is reflected in all aspects of his company. According to their company website, it takes every one of more than their 30,000 employees working at the top of their game for Nike Inc. for them to reach their highest potential. Phil Knight and his employees never settle for anything less than the best. Phil Knight has never stopped pushing his company to grow and has always kept his consumers top of mind. In the early 2000s, when yoga and Pilates grew in popularity among young women, Nike created the Studio Wrap. Yoga and Pilates are exercises that are typically performed barefoot, and the Studio Wrap gives the barefoot feel that women love with the support that they will need. Nike's ability to lead in innovation hinges on their ability to maintain and amplify a culture in which diverse perspectives are welcomed and leveraged. Nike has an adaptive culture, which is a type of organizational culture that encourages confidence and risk-taking among employees, has leadership that produces change, and focuses on the changing needs of customers. Due to Phil Knight's instrumental values of open-mindedness and imagination, creativity and innovation drives the success of Nike. Nike creates products that will continue to help their athletes perform better, whether they are professional or amateur. Nike knows that they can help their athletes run faster, jump higher, and train harder. Nike's commitment to creativity and innovation is also shown in their 10 Commandments, where the first one boldly states that our business is change. Lastly, through Phil Knight's terminal values of prosperity and accomplishment, Phil Knight has been able to turn Nike into a company that has reached $28 billion in sales and that continues to grow. And now I'm going to pass it over to Steve Prefontaine, who's going to talk about decisions.
Hi, I'm Steve Prefontaine, and today I will be talking about Phil Knight and Nike's recent decisions. Phil Knight is the current chairman of the board of Nike. He resigned as CEO in 2004 after the tragic death of his son Matthew Knight, and took over the role as chairman. To look at the type of decisions Knight has made recently, let's first go over what type of decisions chairman usually makes. Usually the main task of the chairman is to hold board meetings and to run them. They are also responsible for establishing a link between the board and the company's strategic objectives. It is the chairman's job to promote the highest standards of integrity and corporate governance throughout the whole company. The chairman's physical responsibilities are provided detailed performance statistics to the board. They also report upcoming hurdles and challenges to the board. The chairman runs meetings with a number of different directors across the whole company. The chairman also has the ability to propose new candidates for membership to the board. One of the most important things the chairman does is communication between the company and the shareholders. In particular, Nike's board meets 5 times a year to go over these topics. The chairman is not responsible for any executive matters, but in the case of Phil Knight, you could tell some decisions have been shaped by him and how they have molded Nike. Some of Knight's most recent decisions include how big to make his private hangar for his Nike G6s and what to wear to the next Oregon football game. He hasn't had to make too many hard decisions lately, but he's definitely involved with many of Nike's decisions as a whole. After all, he did create Nike, so he possesses considerable say. A recent decision Nike has made as a whole was to launch the Nike Fuel Band. Nike took a shortcut to get their wearable technology out on the market early, opposed to Apple, who has taken their time in getting their wearable technology ready and haven't taken any shortcuts. Nike's idea that athletes would want to use the Fuel Band to train used an availability heuristic as well as an escalation of commitment. They had a very biased testing pool because the athletes they assumed would want to use the Fuel Band were die-hard Nike ambassadors and elite athletes that were sponsored by Nike. They assumed that everyone trying to personally train would be very similar to the Nike diehards. They took the information of these people and used it as a shortcut to apply to everyone. They also took a shortcut when it comes to escalation of commitment. Nike was one of the first huge companies to announce a large-scale wearable item. They already had 80 people on this team and have spent millions of dollars to produce this product. Because they took multiple shortcuts, Nike announced the stoppage of the selling of the Fuel Band recently. They've lost millions of dollars in this project because they took biased shortcuts to try to be the first to make it big when it comes to the wearable market. These shortcuts were not effective and backfired on them as a whole. Phil Knight and Nike uncharacteristically took shortcuts on this project, and I don't think they'll ever do it again.